A new Apple TV is rumored to be released sometime during the November keynote from Apple. And so in this video, let's go ahead and highlight all the new changes, features, and things to actually talk about in case you're debating if you should wait a little bit longer for this newer version Apple TV or if you should pick up the current one. So of course, timestamps and everything will be in the video description down below. Let's start off with the overall design. The design is the design language in general, it's set to not change. It's going to continue having that same square black design that we are familiar with, and this will be the design that continues even on the latest generation Apple TV. So no major change here, but internally this is where things actually did change. As just like the iPhone 17 lineup, this will feature Apple's latest N1 chip, which is what's responsible for controlling Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So all the wireless connectivity will be all controlled with this new N1 chip, which means this Apple TV will be the first box to ever receive Wi-Fi 7 from an Apple TV device, as well as the latest generation Bluetooth 6, which means this will be ideal for wireless 4K movie streaming or video streaming in general, and will be ideal to use for even gaming as well, in case you're subscribed to Apple Arcade. And will be extremely beneficial as well if you have it paired with a wireless Bluetooth controller. Just keep in mind, Wi-Fi speeds will all be affected by your Wi-Fi network. So if you have a router that doesn't support these speeds, or your ISP plan doesn't provide that fast uploads or download speeds, this doesn't really matter. Just something I wanted to highlight. But nonetheless, a nice subtle improvement. But where this Apple TV will certainly shine is for all your smart home accessories. You see, just like the current Apple TV, can be used as a smart home hub. With Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 6, this will make this Apple TV be the fastest and quickest device to communicate across all your other smart home accessories or appliances. And then when it comes to its internal processor, it is going to be rocking the latest generation iPhone 17 Pro chipset inside, as it seems like Apple is going to integrate this next version of the Apple TV with the latest A17 Pro Chip. Should be able to run the latest graphics, no issues whatsoever, and will be able to handle multitasking just fine, which means Apple Intelligence is rumored to be actually integrated inside the Apple TV for the very first time. But with the integration of the Apple Intelligence, of course, we will probably likely see a bump in internal storage, basically from the previous 64 gigs, making the default being 128 gigs or more, hopefully. But when it comes to its overall controllers, the controllers doesn't seem like Apple's going to change or redesign it. It still will feature the latest generation Apple TV remote, which will have the built-in Find My ability, so you could actually track your remote in case you misplace it somewhere around your household. So nonetheless, a nice feature, and of course, you'll be using USB-C. So the controller itself is unlikely to actually receive like a massive overhaul. And then when it comes to its UI ports, it's rumored it's going to be exactly the same like the current one, a power port, HDMI, and that's it. There might be an Ethernet option if you need it for the more expensive storage option Apple TV. But there are suggestions from Bloomberg suggesting that a Apple TV camera may be either built into the Apple TV box itself, or it will support a third-party or a first-party camera for all your FaceTime calls, or even karaoke if you have the camera enabled, which is all new features that got integrated on iOS 26 and has been improved as well, especially the karaoke, like the Apple Music Sing app. But there has been reports saying that this is likely to be released on the next version, like the 2-year down the line Apple TV version, not this current one that's coming out around the corner. But if that is the case, maybe we will see finally a USB-C port in the back of an Apple TV for not only external storage support, but also external accessory support like the camera. Because currently you are able to use your Apple TV for FaceTime calling, you just need to have it connected to an iPhone or an iPad as the main camera. But for me personally, whenever I have like family gatherings and stuff like that, we end up still using the iPhone. Maybe sometimes we'll occasionally grab a laptop for those large gatherings, but again, personally, I don't see this as a selling point. If you are somebody who uses the Apple TV for FaceTime calling, that is something interesting to definitely keep in mind in case you're thinking about upgrading. But with this camera support, it's also rumored that it will actually support body motion gesture controls, very similar to like the Xbox Kinect. If you remember that, you'll be able to possibly control the Apple TV by just simply moving your hand like I'm doing right here and navigate your menu. So really interesting stuff. And then when it comes to overall pricing, Apple is trying to target this Apple TV to be an affordable model, like previously how the very first early generation Apple TVs were priced around $80 to like $100, $99. It's rumor Apple's trying to do the exact same thing on this newer version Apple TV. But with this price tag, I could definitely see more Apple TVs becoming more available in more people's households. So to wrap everything up, it will feature the same hardware that's found on the iPhone 17 Pros, which means it will be able to deliver AAA title graphic games in your living room without having a full flagship console. And then a camera support is just a rumor, not guaranteed. So it's kind of unlikely we'll actually see that for this upcoming version of the Apple TV. And then when it comes to audio pass-through, the current Apple TV 4K was supposed to have audio pass-through, and it was confirmed. This was one of the biggest updates for during WWDC for tvOS 26. Audio pass-through was confirmed to be compatible and supported finally, but it's November now, and we don't have it. It's nowhere to be found on this latest version of tvOS 26, unfortunately. Not sure what's going on with Apple. At first, some Apple support people were saying that they're waiting on third-party developers like Netflix and Hulu and stuff to enable it on their end. Again, there's no sign of pass-through support coming out to the current Apple TV. Hopefully this one, the next version, will finally be native and finally built in to the Apple TV itself. So audiophiles who have those tricked out amazing home surround sound systems can definitely utilize the amazing hardware that the Apple TV can provide. So crossing our fingers, audio pass-through, please be available on this newer version Apple TV. So hopefully this Apple TV will become smarter, faster, and packed with a lot of audio features that a lot of audiophiles wish the Apple TV has to easily be a part of a full decked out surround sound system. And of course, it's gonna have Apple Intelligence. Not sure exactly how it's gonna work on the Apple TV, but it's powerful enough to run it. So hopefully that is the case of these rumors being true of the Apple TV, because I do use my Apple TV primarily as a smart home hub. There's been a couple of times where my Wi-Fi will just tank or internet would just go away. Having that as a backup gives me a peace of mind I can still access my house even without my physical key on my person. But there you guys have it. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think about this Apple TV? Do you think we'll see it this year, or are we likely to see it next year in spring? I'm just making this video because I've been seeing a lot of reports and rumors that Apple is having a keynote this November. Only time can tell. It's going to be probably one of those random release products like we saw happen a couple weeks ago with the latest generation iPad Pros, as well as the MacBook Pro. But there we have it. If you want to watch more, maybe you'd like to see the current features that Apple integrated on its latest version of tvOS 26, I cover all the cool hidden features in this video over there, including a clever way to swap the annoying default keyboard with a better keyboard in that video over there. Definitely do watch that video so you get the most out of your device. Thank you so much for watching.